Junkyard Junkie, back here with another video. Today we're going to be working on this 2005 to 2014 Ford Mustang. This is the 4.0 model, and I will be showing you how to replace your valve cover gaskets. So the problem we have here is if you crank it, you'll start to smell oil in the cabin. Also, if you look underneath the hood, you'll actually see it start smoking a little bit, and I can already see where it's leaking at the valve cover on the driver's side. Okay, so if we look in the engine bay, on our driver's side, you can already see smoke coming up. That's from the oil. If we go around, we can actually see where it's leaking at. It's leaking right down there on the exhaust manifold. As you can see, it's dry over there, but wet right there. So we're gonna go ahead and turn it off. This is where the valve cover meets the cylinder heads. And as you can see, it's really wet right there. So that's where our leak is. Okay, so if we look over here on the passenger side, this one's going to be really easy to take off and replace, but on the driver's side we're going to have to work a little bit harder because there's a lot more stuff in the way. Okay, so where we'll start is we'll take this and go ahead and disconnect it. All you gotta do to disconnect this, we're just going to stick a little flathead in there and just raise it up enough to pull it apart. So get it right there. There we go. So all I did was take this and slightly pull that up to release this. You want to be careful because this will break, it's just plastic. Next thing we're going to take off is this PCV hose. It's got this green locking tab, goes around, and there's another green locking tab back there. Okay, so as you can see, there's a little slit right here. If you just pull, so just take it and pull this way, and pull down, get it out of the way. My glove's stuck behind it, but as you can see, it's down here now. Just like that. Now you can pull it right off. Okay, so now we go to the back, and as you can see, it's hard to see, but it's right there. And you just pull that down and pull it off. So it's just like the other side. Okay, so if we look right here, we have this right here. It's got a little clip in it. You want to pop it up. Don't lose it, because that's what locks it in there. And then it comes right off. So we'll just tuck that to the side. Now then, we will go ahead and remove this bolt right here that holds this wire loom. So this is a 7mm, which is pretty common on these Fords. Take that right out. Now it's free from the valve cover. Okay, up next we're going to take off this Evap Hose. It's got that clear retainer down there. You have to push that in. And it goes all the way down here. Right there. So we'll just push that in real quick and pull it out. Just push it in, pull it off. There we go. Now then we have it pulled off. We can just tuck it away over here to the side somewhere, just like that. Okay, so next up we're going to go ahead and remove this cool pack. This will free up a lot of room that we need. There's one bolt there. There's another one right there. It's hard to see. There it is. You'll see it in person. It's a lot easier than getting a camera angle. And then finally, we'll have to take off that one right there and that one right there. But first we want to go ahead and disconnect this here. Okay, so if we look here, we got this little notch. This has to come over. Don't pry too hard or you will break it. Just lift it up, wiggle it off, just like that. Now we can work on removing those bolts. Okay, so it's pretty much impossible for me to record this, but you can see the one right there And then there's another one right down there. It's a smaller one. So you got a 15 millimeter, 7 millimeter, and then both these are 7s up here. So 7 and 7. I'm gonna take those bottom ones off camera because there's just no camera angle I can get. Okay, as a quick side note, the two that were down below, the one on this side, it was a 10 millimeter, and these two up here are actually 8 millimeters. So check your sizes. I'm not sure if these are the correct ones for this car, if someone replaced them, but just double check your sizes. Now that we got all 4 of those out, we can move this around. So what you want to do is go ahead and take your spark plug boots out. Let's pull them out one by one. That way we can take this and just flip it up. Just for reference, I'm looking at this as 1, 2, 3. It'd be 1, 3, 2. So if you take it off and you can't remember where it goes, one, you could go ahead and mark them before you take them off, or you can just refer to this video or a diagram. You stick your flat blade in there and just turn it, and it'll pop this out. That way we can pull these out just like that. So see, now they're free. Okay, so now that we got all those spark plug boots removed and all these bolts, we can just take this, move it up out of our way, set it up there, and there we go. Now look how much more room we have. Okay, so what we want to get next is this fuel line out of our way. It comes down, it goes down here to a bracket, and if you look right there, right way down there, it's hard to see. You look down there, you'll see that little bolt right there. It's hard to see, but you can see where the hose goes, and you can just follow that little bracket. There's one bolt there. You gotta take that out, and that's gonna be the most pain of this job. And we also want to disconnect it right here. To disconnect it right here, just take, I'll pry it up, just like that. Be careful, don't break it. But then once you pull it up, you want to push down like you're pushing it through. Okay, so gas will come out. What you gotta do is just get it where you can push that through, so that side comes up. It's just hard to do one-handed, but it's pretty simple to do. Now that we got that out, I want to take that one bolt out. So if we're looking down there, we can see the bracket, and then the bolt is right there. Okay, so I went ahead and got it off. It's right here. It was 8 millimeter, and there was no room for a socket, so it was a real pain. I had to get a wrench and just barely get a little bit of a turn each time until it finally got loose enough to take off with my hands. Okay, so now we're about to get this, move it out. Okay, so coming in here, we're just going to take this off. You just press down and pull out, just like that. Now we gotta take these fuel injectors off. If you look there on the right side, there's a place to push down and then pull out. Okay, so here's the fuel injector plug. You just press down on this tab and pull out. Go ahead and take the other two off. Okay, now that you got all those off, you'll be able to wiggle it right out through there. Now we just gotta get this fuel line to come out. Just push down just like that. And now this can come up and get it out of our way. There we go. So now that should be out of our way enough. All we gotta do is get the valve cover bolts out. There's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then way up there is 6. So if you look right up there, there's the 6th. Okay, so these are going to be 8mm. Let's get you an extension. You do want to pop that off down there where we took it off before, because it's in the way of our bolt. Okay, I went ahead and took the rest of them out. Now we're just gonna have to snake it through. Make sure if any resistance comes, you figure out where it's coming from and fix it. Make sure there's nothing left, you know, on. And it should just slide right out. I may go ahead and take this dipstick out just because I don't want to accidentally break it. Go ahead and take this mass airflow sensor out. Just pull back on this red tab. Just like that, it'll pop out, push down, pull out. Just like that. Go ahead and pull it out, and there you go. Now you want to come through here and get the surface on this outside cleaned, and maybe take a little Scotch-Brite pad to it and just make sure it's good to seal back up. Okay, so now that I got it all cleaned up, now let's go prep the valve cover. Okay, so if you look in here, you'll see the gasket, it's all squished down. You can tell it's getting old. So you want to take just a pick, but don't gouge it, just get in there, peel it up. The fact that it's brittle is a good sign that it needed to be changed anyways. There we go. Now we're going to clean that up. Okay, so if you look in here, we got to take these bolts out. They have a little grommet in there that we need to replace. So there it is. Okay, so we'll just take this here, and it will come off. You just got to work it just like that. We'll just take our new one, and get it right back on there. Perfect. Once you do one, all you want to do is take it, stick it right back in, and press until you see it come through just like that. It sits really easy, and that's ready to go. Go ahead and do the rest of it. Okay, so I'm using a Felpro. I really like Felpro gaskets. Okay, so you just want to go ahead and start putting it in. Snaps into place. I really like these gaskets. You want to make sure that seat's really proper and good. That way you don't have any leaks. I usually go around it once and then come back around it. Now that you got it nice and seated, we can put it back on the car. The good thing about Felpro is when they go in, they usually lock themselves in. I know other gaskets will like to come out, but these usually stay secure, so you can turn it upside down and not worry about it falling out. Okay, so just like going out, you want to just sneak it right back in. Run everything. Make sure your gasket stays on. Go. Perfect. Now we're just going to go ahead and get them started by hand, and then I'll show you how to torque them and torque specs. Tight. Now we're just going to get them all down there, not tight, but down where they're ready to get torqued down. Really, you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the torquing sequence. Now we'll go ahead and stick our dipstick back in. Okay, so after looking at the service manual, the torquing sequence will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it will get torqued down to 89 inch-pound. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start down here. One. Two. Three. Four. Now just get these last two. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just throw all this back together. Just assembly is the same as disassembly in reverse. So it's pretty simple. For your PCV hose and all these other ones that have these connectors, you just push it in, it'll snap. You don't gotta worry about moving out of the way. Same with that. Okay, now that you got both sides done, you wanna go ahead and crank it up. Make sure that it's not leaking anywhere. Make sure everything's hooked up right. Okay, so now we went ahead and started it up. We want to take a quick look around, make sure there ain't nothing leaking. That's why we cleaned everything up, just so we can see if it's leaking again, and so it mates perfectly. And that way it would seal correctly. We go look, we don't have any more oil smoke coming out of here. And it looks clean down there. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. Now you know how to change the driver valve cover gaskets. One thing to note is after I did this, I looked around it and didn't see anything leaking, which is always a good sign. If you see something leaking, you may have got it pinched up in there, and you will have to take it back off to fix it. Another thing is there was already oil that had leaked onto the exhaust. So when I crunk it up, it was smoking. So I drove about 1.5 miles down the road and back. And once I got back, it's no longer smoking. It's all dried up. That's what you want to see. If it's still wet, you probably still have a leak somewhere. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you.